everyone. Welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to our new subscribers. Appreciate you coming back and being here and hear me talk about my favorite subject, preparedness. I want to talk to you about preparedness and some of the shortfalls, and if you're new, getting started in preparedness, and what's driving me to talk about this is a series of observations I made through working the disaster and Hurricane Helene, and then monitoring and reading on the California fires, and also past experience working disasters from Africa to Eastern Europe, and the time when I lived in Alabama, and hurricanes, tornadoes, and out on Guam living through typhoons and so forth. If someone asked me to give them one single word that I probably hear the most over the years of being involved in preparedness at some level, what would it be? And it would be can't. I can't do it. I can't make it happen. I can't learn it. I can't afford it. And I can't. And I simply don't buy it personally. If um, if there is um, an appropriate mental attitude of wanting to prepare and change your lifestyle to build a self-reliant, self-insurance policy to protect yourself and your family and hopefully your community, can't won't fit in. And thinking positive and having a positive attitude, especially when you're around others, and especially if you're going to step into a leadership role. Being positive breeds positive results, and negativity breeds negativity, and also attracts individuals who have the can't attitude, and they're mostly negative. So surround yourself with good people with positive attitudes, team players with skills and so forth. But I like to ask people who, if I get in a conversation about preparedness and they want to tell me about everything they bought and all of that, I simply ask them one question. So what are you planning for? And I always get the deer in the headlight look. I always get the blank stare, because they're doing what probably 95 to 98% of other people who prepare what they do, and that is simply buy stuff. So I wanted to take a few minutes out and kind of run through a process that I would recommend to you to keep you on track. So if you're buying too much of one thing and not enough of another, you need to balance it out, but you need to know what you're buying for. Okay? What are you planning for? How you buy and plan living in a small town or rural community is different than how you would prepare if you lived in a city area, or if you maybe lived in an apartment of that nature. I mean, preparedness is preparedness, but the threats are different, okay? And how you're going to mitigate those threats, and then build plans around it will help you determine how you need to prepare. So let's start off here, and I will walk you through the process real quick, and then we'll have some more conversation. So many folks who are into preparedness simply read books and they go out and they buy lots of stuff. And when you ask them, well, what plans did you use to know what you're planning for determining what you buy? You get a deer in the headlight look. Now, that's not a knock on them, because kudos to them for at least leaning forward to get started into buying resources to help them during any type of disaster or event. Here at Hope for Survival, um, everything from day one to almost year 6 is based around the chart that you see here. Okay. And everything is determined by risk. You got to have a risk assessment, how you're going to manage it. What threats do you identify um, to you and your family? How you're going to mitigate that threat. And then you build your plans around these type events. And you can see it looks like an umbrella. And it kind of is the Hope for Survival umbrella for protection. And just like with an umbrella, you have numerous wires connected to the pole and the handle that keeps the umbrella up. And you can see these are labeled water, food, security, shelter, comms, medical, and other. And these are the key components to keep you protected under that umbrella during any type of man-made, natural, or technological event. And to establish these categories, we do it through a building block process that you see down below. And that is the individual commitment, which goes to the mindset, which is covered in book 2 of Hope for Survival that I authored. You have the individual commitment, individual training, which is covered a lot in book 1, and then a class that we teach called Preparedness 101. And then it goes from the individual to family training, which it's kind of a package. And then we go from family to community vetting, which we cover in the Preparedness 102. And then community organizing, and this is the Hope for Survival meeting and vetting prospects. And then from there we go to what we call the 5-mile radius class, which is a pretty detailed class, and it's a process that you go through to determine all the information that you need around you to properly conduct your terrain mapping, your aerial view and assessment, and this helps you when you do your actual overall risk assessment. What is the threat to you within your area? And then we talk about memorandums of understanding and memorandums of agreement between you or your community and other communities around, and that's the 5-mile radius. So the risk management. So you have to assess the risk, assess things that are around you. You got to evaluate it. You got to manage it and measure it. And you got to determine and prioritize the risks that you identify. How are they a threat to you? And how do you plan on fixing those risks if you can? And from that, you start building your plans. And once you know what your threats are, we have what I call the local and national global events cylinder. And this is an example, but you can see on the outer green ring, this is the global level events: wars, food shortages, pandemic, economic crash, ENP. And then on the national level, what are national level events that could impact the national level from the global level, and how could they impact your 5 mile radius? So at the national level, you see civil war, government, economic collapse, riots, anarchy, pandemic, unemployment, gangs, food shortage, and global events. And then down in the red circle, that's the one close to home, you, things that you identify impacting your community: unemployment, food shortage, car accidents with injuries, fire, weather, home invasion, gangs, local riots, protests, anarchy, plus all national and global level events. So once you have filled this out, you will go down and you'll do what's called my personal threat matrix. And this is listing your top 5. This is an example, the top 5 for January 2025. Global level: threat of war, food shortage, EMP, CME, solar flares, global economic and monetary crash to achieve digital currency, a new pandemic. And then on the national level: terrorism, government tyranny, instability through political strife and change in administrations, economic monetary system crash, the Great Reset, weakening defense of the nation, anarchy, culture clashes, race, socioeconomic, government inability or effort to control, and then the supply system interruption due to numerous reasons, to include weather. Always remember, when the trucks stop rolling, you're 9 meals from starvation. Then on your local level, you would fill out for your community based on your assessments the top 5 things that could impact your community: economic, unemployment, homelessness, terrorism indirectly impacting your local community, food availability for unemployed, poor, homeless, driven by weather, funds, and access to food, external threats, inner community areas, gangs, rioters, anarchists, and then 18-wheelers stop supplying food, fuel, medicine to the community. Always remember, we are in America, we use a just-in-time supply system for food, fuel, and medicinal needs. So all communities, cities, townships are all set up on a 3-day supply rotation. That means if the trucks stop rolling, in 3 days, food, fuel, medicine to the community will run out. If you had, this is all based off of statistics and the number of people that live in your community, averages shopping in a particular store over a period of, they know down to each day what are the busiest days, which days will sell more, first of the month supply stock, when people's checks come out, and so forth. These are things, and this is the reason why being prepared will ensure that if things go bad, you don't have to go into your community stores to buy supplies when everyone else is rushing to get them, because you will already have them. So this right here is what should help you in determining how you're going to prepare, what you need to buy in stock, and what plans that you will need to build for yourself, your family, and then in building your community. Okay, so after you've gone through the risk assessment process and you've kind of racked and stacked your threats to your home and your community, you want to rack and stack those threats by priority. The highest priority you need to address that's the biggest threat to you down to the least. If you have book one, Hope for Survival, book one, How Food, Water, Shelter, Security Could Save Your Life. There's a sample of that chart in there. The threat mitigation sheet, it's a sample sheet that I built in the book. And you need to start considering your emergency plan, emergency evacuation plan, your security plan, your food plan, your communication plan, your medical plan, if you got anyone with special medical needs, whether it's medicinal or physical, how you're going to care for them during Hurricane Helene. In the initial phase, they were without power for several weeks. Anyone that was on dialysis, if you don't have a plan in place of how you're going to keep your diabetes meds cool, you've already got a problem. So there's ways that you can plan for it. If it's winter time, you're in good shape. If it's not, you got to take steps, and that's part of planning. Okay, and most people that I encounter, they may have awesome preps in place, but they have no plans. Excuse me. Some of the best prep plans that I've witnessed, they have no plans. And I'll ask the leader of the group or the home, typically the male, so if you get injured or die, who's going to assume control? And do they know everything you have in place, how to check your solar systems, how to manage it, care for it, how to get in your safes, where's your personal documents at? Are they locked up? Do they have the combination? And so on and so forth. And that's why we built the digital memory stick that we have on our webpage, that you can copy everything onto that digital stick. So if you have to flee your home in a disaster or lose everything, you have that waterproof memory stick with your with your documents on it. So it's all part of planning in advance. It's investing time now to set yourself up for success. This is your personal insurance policy to go forth with a self-reliant plan to take care of you and your family. If you lose everything in a disaster at your home, now what? Well, if you have set up a well-planned cache, storing things outside your home properly, then you won't be standing in the sleet at 3 a.m. watching everything everything that you own go up in flames or wash away in a flood. Okay. It takes effort and it takes time, and you've got to think outside the box. Okay. The goal is always to think outside the box and stay left of bang. And bang is what will hurt you. It could be an invasion of your home. It could be a gang in your community. It could be a flood. It could be a fire. It could be a tornado. It could be a hurricane. It could be civil unrest. That is bang. So how are you going to plan around the scenarios that you identify in your risk assessment to properly have that self-sustainment? Okay. So here at Hope for Survival, in the past years, we've put together some documents to kind of help. Here's a pre-assessment survey questionnaire. It's probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 pages. It takes work, okay? But like for family, identify the number of full-time or part-time personnel that live at your location day to day. Identify ages, estimated ages of those who may rally at your location during emergency condition. This is non-family or family that live outside the household who plan to come to your home. Have you identified any all potential health issues? Would you rate your family as being completely prepared, partially prepared, minimally prepared? Emergency plans, what completed or draft emergency plans do you currently have? Does your current plan include others rallying at your property under your plan? And there's some more questions, and it goes down to location. Identify the 3 nearest towns to your home and address the estimated mileage. Is the nearest hospital and trauma center to your expected home or bug-in location. Distance from your home to 2 nearest responding fire departments, mileage in the towns. Distance from your home to the nearest state, county, and local police departments providing services to your address. Do you know the current sheriff and his or her political leaning? Estimated food stock on hand now, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, 270, 1 year, beyond 1 year. And there's a series of questions still under food. Then we go to water. What is your primary source for water day to day? If any, what is your backup water plan to your primary? Do you have a third option? Water treatment. Have you treated your sources of water to include your primary as supplied by the town and city? There's more water. Then we go to talk about your home. Bugging in, do you live in a rural, suburban, urban neighborhood? How close is your nearest neighbor? How would you rate your relationship with those living near you? How many floors does your home have? Do you have a storm shelter in place or an interior panic room? Does it include a basement? If you have a basement, does it have an entrance from the outside windows? During inclement weather, is it possible for the basement to flood? If so, do you have a sump pump in place? And there's a series more of home questions about how your home's located. Is it set back off the road? Is it fenced? Do you have above ground exterior fuel tanks or cells? Do you have any equipment, HVAC units, or other resources near your home that can afford a threat to use as stepping to get them to the main floor window? Is your roof currently shingled or metal? And then there's more questions about your home. And then we talk about bugging out. If you are required to flee your primary residence because of a hazardous condition or threat, do you have a plan to extract your primary residence and where? Do you have drafted maps of your extraction route out to your secure location and where to find the hidden resources? Do you have communication equipment to use during this type of extraction? And then we go to security. Do you have a security plan in place? Do you have security devices in place? Do you have security cameras? Do you understand the difference between utilizing lethal and non-lethal security concepts, devices, and planning? Do you understand the difference in how to utilize your security resources in an offensive and defensive measure and plans? When you leave your home and transit your property, are you typically protected with your choice of protection? And it goes on with a series of security questions. Right now, how would you rate your ability to protect your family and property? Right now, how would you rate your ability to detect possible threats or direct threats to your property? This would be people, animals, or hazardous events or conditions. Are you capable of arming each primary family member with a primary sidearm and long gun as well as a shotgun? How often do you practice? Do you have a trusted agent? Which goes back to, if the leader's taken out, who assumes control? Who consumes the leadership role? And there's more questions on here. Then we go and we talk about communications, power and utilities, first aid, and then personal questions. There's 102 questions on here. It's a pre-assessment survey that we put together that we pass out to our Hope for Survival family for them to do assessments of their property. This is a very soft assessment. Very soft assessment, but it'll give you a good idea when you answer these questions. It's things you should be thinking about and looking at. Okay. And we have pre-meeting, meeting, post-meeting documents for vetting, team member sheet to fill out, team skills assessment. If you're putting together a community team, are you recruiting your buddies, or are you getting people who have skills and offer you something in return to build a total package? I know there's some folks who plan to simply bug in. That's their best choice, and that's great based on locations and so forth. But what if an event occurs, such as a fire, or something happens that chases you from that home? Do you have a plan, and have you set up a cache to protect you and get you through that period? We have a 33-page checklist on here that covers items that you should consider. Then we have a 17-page checklist in the same category. And then we have some documents that we used during the Big C from 2020 to 2024 and so forth. The whole point that I'm telling you this is there's a lot more to preparedness than simply spending the day on Amazon and buying and going to case lot sales and stocking up on food. All great things, okay? They're all great things. But in order to build a solid package, these checklists that I'm mentioning to you and talking to you about are things that you really need to consider reviewing and looking through, cross and checking them with your preparedness plan, with your preparedness package, and you need to document plans. Okay, you really need plans. I'm telling you from past experience in the military and working disasters as well. When the threat goes up, things that you have stored in your head, you're going to forget them. Okay? It's not saying a knock on you. It's simply just how the body and the brain works. All right? So sit down with your loved one or your family or your group and start writing these things down. Keep them in a safe place and working through these processes. Okay? If you are not in the Hope for Survival family and you're watching this video, if you would like me to send you these documents, you can email me at preparedness101 at protonmail.com. That's preparedness101 at protonmail.com. Okay? And I will send them out to you for you to use. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. Okay? And also the weekly newsletter that I had posted for 187 straight weeks that I had to suspend on October 4th because I was in the disaster area working Hurricane Helene in East Tennessee. Just to let you know, the Patriot Express newsletter edition 288 will be posted this Friday. So we'll be going back to posting the newsletter at hopeforsurvival.com. And if you would like to be on the mailing list for notifications on that, send me your email address, and I will add you to the notification roster, the emails that I send out. Okay, so this was just a quick update. I hope it helps you in some way. I hope you won't take preparedness lightly, even though we have a change of administration and executive orders and policies are flying out the doors like crazy. Don't put your faith and hope in Washington. All right. Put your faith and hope in yourself and your family and your community. That's where it's going to matter most. I can tell you over and over till I'm blue in the face, disaster after disaster after disaster. It's about the community. I talk about this in the newsletter that's coming out on Friday. So if you like this video, please hit like. If you have not subscribed, I feel like a broken record. If you have not subscribed, please hit subscribe and join us on this journey. And most of all, don't forget to count your blessings and don't forget to give thanks. Bravo Echo out. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal, if you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.